For the first time in more than 4 decades of polling on the subject, a majority of Americans favor legalizing the use of marijuana. The latest national survey from the Pew Research Center says 52% of Americans favor legalization of the drug. Americans were first polled on the subject in 1969. At the time, just 12% believed weed should be legalized, but as this graph shows, that number has steadily been on the rise from 1991 on. Among that majority, 65% of Americans ages 18 to 32 support marijuana's legalization, almost double the amount who shared that opinion in 2008. Pew adds that half of all baby boomers now favor legalization, the highest amount since the 1970s. The findings come on the heels of Colorado and Washington state's landmark decisions in November to legalize recreational use of marijuana. But despite the results, marijuana use is still illegal under federal law. And when President Obama appeared on Jimmy Fallon last year, he had a message for weed enthusiasts. Don't hold your breath for legalization.
We're not going to be legalizing weed or what anytime soon. When it comes to drugs, that we're not just thinking about law enforcement, we're also thinking about treating it as a public health problem.
But there are several veterans of the war on drugs who are critical of the government's law enforcement attempts. Business Insider spoke with Stephen Downing, the former director of the Narcotics Division under Richard Nixon. Downing says the government isn't doing as well as it claims to be. Under the Nixon administration, our goal, and the goal today, is to reduce the flow of drugs into this country, to reduce its purity, and to reduce drug addiction. Well, we have not done any of that. Our government keeps lying to us about how successful they are. And Downing's sharp criticism has some backing from the people. According to the same Pew poll, 72% of Americans believe federal efforts to enforce marijuana laws cost more than they are worth. But those cries for the federal government to back off on their war on weed are falling on deaf ears. The DEA released its official position on the drug in 2011, saying specifically smoked marijuana has not withstood the rigors of science. It is not medicine and it is not safe. That hardline opinion would support the president's goal of treating it as a public health problem, like cigarette smoking and seatbelt usage. But 15 states still have laws in place allowing medicinal uses of marijuana, and the Obama administration has suggested that it will not go after state laws legalizing recreational marijuana use, a seeming clash with the DEA's position. So what's next for weed? A writer for MSNBC's Maddow blog says if the overall shift in marijuana's public perception could lead to a constructive discussion about revisiting drug laws and the incarceration of nonviolent drug users, the country would benefit enormously. For Newsy, I'm Christian Bryant. Multiple sources, a broader view.